Hi everyone, I'm Sam Bettens, and we are working up to 116 degrees Fahrenheit in the desert today. The soles have literally melted off of my daughter's basketball shoes. But that will not deter us from this week's vlog, which is a Q&A. I want to thank you guys for sending questions and comments, and I tried to compile a list of good questions to answer for you guys today. I put some of them together because they were kind of themed the same way. So without further ado, question number 1. Did you choose Sam for Gert's children to call you Uncle Sam? How did you choose Sam? The whole Uncle Sam thing made me doubt for a second whether it was a good idea, but I did go for Sam because I felt from the beginning that it was almost like an obvious choice. Way before I ever even thought about being transgender, I used Sam sometimes at Starbucks, and I would get a kick out of getting that cup and seeing Sam on there instead of Sarah. I don't know why I did that. Maybe now I do know why I did that. But anyway, it was kind of like a fun alternate name. When I started thinking about which name I would go by, because Sarah is obviously so feminine, so there was no way to keep that, I made a list of these really cool names, and maybe if I muster up the courage, I will share them with you one day, but it's a little bit embarrassing because they were all a little too cool for a 46-year-old person. So if I was going to have another kid, then maybe I will address that list again, but there were names that were just too cool for me, basically. Not that Sam is not a really cool name, but it is a name that fits with a person of my age. And I ended up going to a list of names that were given to guys who were born in 1972. And I decided I should pick a name from there. I didn't want to embarrass myself telling my big kids, like, hey, my new name is going to be Cash Bettens. It was just too weird. So Sam seemed close to Sarah, same initial, and it kind of stuck from the beginning. So I thought about it kind of early on, and it never really changed. Are there certain statements or behaviors that you encourage or discourage if I have specific contact with transgender people? So I think what you're asking is, are there certain things I shouldn't say? Are there certain rules I need to follow when I'm talking to someone who's transgender? That's a great question. It might be different for other transgender people. For me, I don't think you can offend me unless you're really trying to offend me. So if you know that I go by he, him pronouns, then use those pronouns. If you're talking to a non-binary person who goes by they, them pronouns, then try to use those pronouns. When you mess up, say, oh, sorry, messed up. I don't think anyone's really going to hold that against you. I definitely wouldn't. One question that people ask me that I'm not comfortable with is about possible surgery. That is a personal thing as well. There may be plenty of transgender people who wouldn't mind talking about that part. For me, especially the bottom surgery is highly, highly personal. First of all, whether someone has bottom surgery or not, it doesn't validate or invalidate whether they are a man or not. Second, again, I just think it's private. They're your private parts. I don't think it's anyone's business. Now, when it comes to top surgery, somehow for me, it's different. Top surgery is about being able to present as a man. The thought of being able to take my shirt off and jump in the pool just wearing swim shorts, that is something that I've been thinking about and dreaming about for a really long time. And I'm not very reluctant to talk about that. Somehow the bottom surgery subject is just different to me. So maybe don't ask someone about their surgeries unless they offer. How do you feel about K's choice? Is Sam going to sing Sarah's songs? Can you already give us some information about a new K's Choice or Rex Rebel tour? Will you change your K's Choice songs so they will fit to your new voice? Excellent questions, all of them. I don't have many answers yet because I don't know where my voice will end up. What I do know is that we have absolutely the intention to continue Case Choice. I would love to continue to sing the old songs as well as new ones. We will just have to wait and see how that's going to pan out. It could be amazing. Two brothers' voices together. It could be that a lot of Case Choice songs just won't work anymore. We're just going to have to wait and see. When it comes to Rex Rebel, the record is already recorded with my old voice. So that will be interesting to play those songs live with a possibly very different sounding voice. We are planning to play with that a little bit and maybe combine my old voice with my new voice when we play live. So there's some interesting stuff coming up, but just like you guys, I don't know yet what's going to happen. Are you ever afraid that stuff will sooner or later have problems with it? Will your wife ever join you on your vlog? By the way, I love it that some of you guys have really gone all the way with this vlog term. To share feelings on being married to you and processing the transition. Would you have chosen to start the transition process if your wife wouldn't support you and wanted to divorce? That is quite the question. Luckily, my wife loves me for who I am, and luckily she is loving this transition. If anything has changed at all, it's that maybe I have gotten a little bit stronger since I started taking testosterone, and she likes that. She's attracted to that, so that's a bonus. If she hadn't been on board with me transitioning, I don't think I would have done it. I want to say again that all the answers that I'm giving here are my answers. I don't want to recommend anything that I'm saying to anyone else. Some of my answers might really not work for you. They might not be safe for you. They might just flat out not be a good idea. So just want to make sure that you guys know that. But again, if my wife had said, I don't think I'm on board with this, I can't go along with this, I wouldn't have done it. And that's just me. I was not in a deep depression. I was not suicidal, and I would have just buckled down and continued my life as a masculine woman. And hopefully it wouldn't have created a lot of problems between us. It may have. I don't know. There is no way to predict that. I'm very lucky, very fortunate to not have to wonder about that since she is all the way on board and on my side. Whether my wife will ever join me on this vlog, I think maybe she's a little camera shy. She's not too excited about getting in front of the camera, but I think she might. She likes these vlogs. She thinks they serve a purpose. And she also thinks she has a role that might be interesting to share with others. So maybe if you guys keep asking, I can convince her. When you were Sarah, you fell in love with women and you were a lesbian. Now you are a man. Are you straight now? And does that mean you were actually always straight, but being transgender confused with being a lesbian? Okay, another big one. The way I see it, I called myself a lesbian because I was going through life as a woman and I felt attracted to women. More specifically, and especially my wife. So that was a term though. I think that I was always a man. I was always a transgender man. And since I didn't know that, I called myself a lesbian, but now I would say I am a guy who falls for women. So what's interesting to bring up here, I think, is that we are very attached to labels. And I'm not just talking about cisgender people. I'm talking about the LGBT, QIA plus community. We like to label and we like to put things in boxes. And I think one of the things that we fight against as lesbians or transgender people is stop labeling us. We are who we are. And maybe we don't fit into a box that someone created for us, but that's okay. So as we're trying to get out of these boxes of what people expect from us, we're creating these new little boxes. So what people are really called is a little less interesting to me than just who you are as an individual, how you present to the world. It's different for everybody. Does my wife still feel like she's a lesbian? Maybe we will have to convince her to join me in this vlog and tell you herself. I know that she was attracted to me when I was a woman, and she's attracted to me now as a transgender man. Maybe she always saw me as a man. Maybe she's not really a lesbian either. What I do know is our family is still intact, and that's what matters. And on that lovely note, I am cutting this vlog off and turning it into a 2-part session. You had many great questions, and my answers were probably way too long. I didn't want this video to go a lot over 10 minutes. So part 2 will be coming next week. Thank you so much for watching. And as always, stay cool. I love you. I appreciate you. Hang loose.